What if two sworn enemies joined forces right before a global war? Welcome to Class Bites. Today, we're diving into the shocking Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact and its secret clauses that ignited World War II. How could two of modern history's most bitter ideological foes, Nazi Germany and the Soviet Union, suddenly cast aside their profound animosity to stand together on the world stage? In the tense summer of 1939, as the specter of war loomed over Europe, this very question sent shockwaves of disbelief and fear across the globe. The answer lay in a cynical and audacious agreement, a pact of convenience that would directly unleash the most destructive conflict in human history. This document, formerly known as the German-Soviet Pact, but more notoriously remembered by the names of its architects as the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact, was signed in the heart of Moscow on the 23rd of August, 1939. There, the Soviet Foreign Minister Vyacheslav Molotov and the German Foreign Minister Joachim von Ribbentrop finalized a deal that would forever alter the continent's fate. To the unsuspecting public, the treaty appeared to be a straightforward and even commendable diplomatic achievement. It was presented as a non-aggression pact, a solemn promise between two powerful nations to renounce war and aggression against one another. The text of the public agreement stipulated that Germany and the Soviet Union would not attack each other, and furthermore, that any dispute or problem that might arise between them was to be resolved through amicable negotiation and peaceful means. This commitment to non-aggression was not a fleeting gesture. It was designed to last for a period of 10 years, with a clause for its automatic renewal for an additional 5 years, suggesting a new era of stability between the two powers. For a world teetering on the brink of catastrophe, it offered a fragile, if deeply unsettling, glimmer of peace. Yet, concealed within the official treaty documents was a dark secret, a hidden protocol that betrayed the pact's peaceful facade. This clandestine addendum was the true heart of the agreement, and its contents were so explosive that they remained a closely guarded secret, only coming to light after the final collapse and defeat of Germany in 1945. This secret protocol was nothing less than a blueprint for the complete geopolitical reordering of Eastern Europe, a cold and calculated plan to divide the sovereign nations lying between Germany and the Soviet Union into designated spheres of influence. In this chilling arrangement, the two dictatorships preemptively carved up the territories of their neighbors, assigning them to either German or Soviet control as if they were mere pieces on a chessboard. The most immediate and tragic victim of this secret agreement was Poland. The protocol dictated that in the event of a territorial and political rearrangement, a euphemism for invasion and conquest, the Polish state would be partitioned between the two signatories. A precise line of demarcation was drawn along the Pisa, Narwe, Vistula, and Sand rivers. All lands to the east of this riverine border would be absorbed into the Soviet sphere, while the territories to the west would fall under the dominion of Germany. The pact did not stop with the dismemberment of Poland. The protocol further assigned Finland, Estonia, and Latvia to the Soviet sphere, effectively handing Moscow a free pass to dominate the Baltic states. The region of Bessarabia, at the time a part of Romania, was also designated for Soviet control. In a testament to the fluid and purely transactional nature of this agreement, the fate of Lithuania was adjusted in a subsequent amendment. Initially placed within the German sphere, it was later transferred to the Soviet Union on the 28th of September 1939, further cementing Stalin's control over the Baltic region. With this monstrous pact in effect, the path to war was now clear. Adolf Hitler, having neutralized the threat of Soviet intervention on his eastern flank, was free to pursue his aggressive ambitions against Poland. On the 1st of September 1939, just days after the ink had dried in Moscow, German forces stormed across the Polish border. This brazen act of aggression finally compelled Great Britain and France to honor their alliances with Poland, and their subsequent declarations of war on Germany marked the definitive beginning of the Second World War. The Soviet Union, in turn, waited for its moment. On the 17th of September 1939, the Red Army invaded Poland from the east, crushing the last vestiges of Polish resistance and occupying the territory that had been allocated to it by the secret protocol. For the next 22 months, an almost surreal period of history unfolded, during which the Third Reich and the Soviet Union, despite their irreconcilable ideologies, acted as effective allies, bound together by their shared conquest. The motivations of the two dictators were rooted in pure, unadulterated pragmatism. For Adolf Hitler, the German-Soviet non-aggression pact was never more than a tactical and temporary maneuver. His long-range vision, a core tenet of his ideology, was the eventual invasion and subjugation of the Soviet Union itself. He dreamed of establishing Lebensraum, a German term meaning living space, which he believed was essential for the German people to thrive and which he planned to carve out of the vast resource-rich lands of Eastern Europe and Russia. The pact was simply a brilliant, if cynical, strategic move that allowed Germany to avoid a devastating two-front war at the outset of its conquests, enabling it to focus its military might on Poland and then Western Europe without fear of an attack from the east. For Joseph Stalin, the calculus was different, but no less pragmatic. The Soviet Union was militarily unprepared for a major conflict with Germany. The Red Army had been severely weakened by Stalin's own brutal purges of its officer corps in the preceding years. The pact, therefore, offered the invaluable gift of time. It provided a crucial buffer period that Stalin intended to use to frantically rearm and strengthen his military forces, preparing for the inevitable confrontation with Hitler that he knew would one day come. He entered the agreement not out of any trust in Hitler, but as a desperate measure to delay a war he was not yet ready to fight. The alliance of convenience, born of mutual suspicion and strategic necessity, was destined to have a violent and bloody end. The pact was officially and irrevocably terminated on the 22nd of June, 1941. On that day, Hitler betrayed his temporary partner and unleashed Operation Barbarossa, the largest land invasion in history, sending millions of German soldiers pouring into the Soviet Union. The temporary truce was shattered, and the two totalitarian giants turned upon each other, initiating the most brutal and costly phase of the Second World War and sealing the pact's legacy as one of the most treacherous and consequential agreements in modern history. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and comment your thoughts or what you want to see next.